In early 2019, I reviewed the original Space Jam, and my opinion on the whole thing was harshly negative. I said it was terrible, unfunny, ugly looking, a giant commercial, Michael Jordan couldn't act, basically said the movie was shit. However, my opinion on the original Space Jam has become a more enthusiastic one since then. It's not a good movie, and I stand by what I say in my review, but I've sort of grown to appreciate the movie for what it is on an ironic level. So much so that I was actually a little excited for the sequel, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now I've seen it, and my experience watching it can be summed up with this.
Woo! Oh!
My official opinion on this one is that it's terrible. It's really bad, but it is better than the original. It's funnier, it looks better visually, and it's more faithful to the style of the Looney Tunes. On top of that, I laughed so hard throughout the whole thing. Not because of any actual intended jokes, but because Just listen to this. Basically, the movie is about LeBron James going up against Algae Rhythm, an AI played by Don Cheadle, who literally controls Warner Brothers. That's not a joke. The villain of the movie is the guy who actually controls Warner Brothers itself. So this thing is a giant commercial for every property Warner Brothers owns, and it's fucking hilarious. You got everything DC showing up. You got King Kong, Game of Thrones, The Iron Giant, Mad Max, The Matrix, Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, The Mask, Gremlins, fucking Rick and Morty. Just the most random and obscure characters from every Warner Brothers movie shows up. You will not be able to spot them all. They are so goddamn bizarre, and I loved it. It is shameless and blatant product placement to an absurd degree. As for the performances, LeBron James isn't a good actor. He delivers his lines in a way that feels like underacting, but he's still a lot better than Michael Jordan. Then there's Don Cheadle, who's easily the best part of this movie because you can tell he's just having fun with this role. I thought the voice actors for the Looney Tunes were good too, and also far better than the voice actors in the original. And I also think this is a lot more cohesive as a story. Like, LeBron has an actual motivation for playing basketball. He's not just a good guy like Michael Jordan was. As far as writing goes, this movie works more as a movie, but it's still terrible. The main problem with this movie is that when there isn't just bizarre shit happening, it's just dumb, cheesy, and boring. The dramatic father and son story feels stale because it's been done before a zillion times, and nothing is done to make it stand out. And while the comedy is better compared to the original, it still wasn't that good. In fact, there was some truly awful moments. There's a scene where Porky Pig raps, and it's one of the cringiest things I've seen in years. Some good gags are there, but there's nothing amazing about them. Even the Warner Brothers references weren't used in a fun way. They just show up and then leave. You can tell that the cast and crew had fun making this, but other than that, all the creative decisions, especially with the plot and the character arcs, just feel like a bunch of cynical, cliche-following choices that were determined by a studio pie chart or something. Maybe the reason I can't get behind these movies is that I feel like the concept is inherently made for money and not from real passion, which is a big no-no in my book. I would definitely watch this again, especially with drinks, but I'm not gonna say this is a good movie. I've thought about giving this the guilty pleasure score of 5 out of 10, but going through all these problems, I have to get realistic and give it a 3 out of 10. I'm glad they went all out on this and made it entertaining as hell, but I feel like there's better stuff to be made than this. I don't know, it's a dumb Looney Tunes basketball movie where Rick and Morty show up. You don't have to listen to me.